Hello there and welcome to this week's media news with me, Gareth O'Connor. Kick things off, some wonderful news um, for one of our big clients, and we've cracked it. Yes, indeed, 1 million customers. 2 Degrees will hit 1 million customers this week. Announcements have all gone out today. So that's fantastic news, so well done to everyone involved. Huge congratulations to 2 Degrees. Not such good news, however, for Facebook. It's still dropping. Yes, indeed, what started at nearly $40 a share has now fallen below $20 for the first time, which is pretty bad news. But the value of the company is halved. It was valued at 100 billion, now valued at 46 billion. It's baffling, really, which makes you think, as I say, how highly inflated the price was when the IPO was launched. Interesting stat, though, for you from Facebook. In the UK, online retail sales through Facebook, so this is brands who are selling product directly on Facebook, are predicted to pass £3 billion over the next 3 years, which is quite something. No one here in NZ, I don't think yet, has sold directly from Facebook. But it's something, of course, that brands are doing in the UK and the US a lot more now. But in terms of total sales, that's 6.1% of total retail sales will be done through Facebook over the next 3 years, which is quite something. Considering when you think that only 4% of UK consumers have currently bought via Facebook, so they're expecting a big rise there in the next 3 years. Well done to a good Kiwi girl. This is pretty big news, particularly for all those involved in Wildfire. Wildfire is a social media marketing software company that was started by Kiwi Victoria Ransom and Alan Chard, and it's to be bought by Google for $250 million. Why am I telling you this? Well, interestingly enough, from a Google point of view, Wildfire's capabilities span across all social networks, but they have an unbelievable amount of Facebook data, which would be extremely attractive for Google. So we'll see what we do with that, with that data. But hey, Google are people who do wonderful things with data, so hopefully they'll do something. The best of the best. YouTube has just launched its top 20 ads of all time, as viewed on YouTube. Here's a top 10. T-Mobile, World of Warcraft, Chuck Norris ad. T-Mobile again, mobile company, not producing 2 good pieces of ads, but it goes to show, it's if you can produce something that is engaging and entertaining, that people want to share and comment on and sparks conversation, there is a massive audience for brands, which always goes, the idea should really be central in everything that you do, but if you can produce something that truly is engaging and entertaining, people will happily spread your brand voice and your brand message far and wide. Old Spice, obviously, and all of these, of course, are award-winning pieces of work. Pepsi Generation, that was the one with Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5, so of course that ad was like 25 years old, which puts the Force, the V-dub ad into serious perspective, because of course that's not even a year old, and it's been viewed 54 million times, which is unbelievable. To put your brand message in front of that sort of size audience. Roller Babies, Evian, and then of course the top ad is of course not a good ad, Angry Birds trailer, but it does go to show you the power of Angry Birds and how many people are playing Angry Birds and how many people, of course, it appeals to mobile gaming. Everyone does it. Tourism Australia do a world first. This is kind of cool. Discover Australia through your friends. It merges Google Maps with Facebook. So users can plan destination and see which ones of their friends have been there. Tourism Australia said, we know from research that more and more travellers are turning to their social media networks for inspiration to help them plan and get the best out of their holidays. Tourism Australia has been a global leader in the digital space for over a decade, and its innovative social media tool will make word of mouth from your trusted network of Facebook friends even more powerful. It's a nice idea, but so many, of course, peer-to-peer recommendation is one of the biggest influences in terms of purchases and purchase decisions, and of course helping people evaluate their decisions. So it's a nice idea that, of course, if you're planning a trip somewhere in Australia, you can see which one of your friends have been there, and you can get recommendations direct from the horse's mouth. Nice idea. But it looks good, functions pretty well. It's a bit clunky, a bit slow, but not necessarily a bad thing. But a very nice idea. Good to see people pushing the boundaries. The Twitter Olympics. It is. Here's 5 stats from Twitter Olympics. London races past Beijing. More tweets in the first day than the entire 2008 event. Not surprising, of course, because there's far more people on Twitter now. But it's still quite amazing that one day surpassed the whole event, which was 17 days. The opening ceremony, no surprises. Danny Boyle the director and creator of the show, mentioned 10 times more in the opening night than any GB athlete over the opening weekend. Quite not too surprising, I suppose. Rowan Atkinson, his Mr. Bean on Chariots of Fire, when he came on there, a little cameo, was mentioned more than his Queen, which is quite surprising considering the Queen did her thing with Daniel Craig's James Bond. British Pride critics are always noisier on social media. But Proud featured 5 times more than Bored, which is always nice. And Little Jamaica. Little Jamaica was a 3rd ranked country in terms of making noise on Twitter, behind the USA and Great Britain. So what's different about 2012? Well, in 2008, 133 million videos on YouTube were watched every day. Now it's 4 billion. Truly mind-boggling that is. Olympic campaign 4 years ago would have cost you 40 million US dollars, whereas now that will only get you 10 30-second Super Bowl spots. How times have changed. This is quite something. Facebook in 2008 had 100 million users. Now they've got 900 million users, but this is a staggering stat that Coca-Cola's moved to beat the Mark Ronson song and video for Coca-Cola's Olympic campaign. 3 million videos are posted on Facebook around that move to the beat. 3 million! Unbelievable. Twitter users, of course, 6 million in 2008, 500 million now, so not too surprising that the opening ceremony was more than the whole event, but still, it's a staggering amount of traffic. And P&G, like I said last week, P&G are leading in terms of searches. Oh, there goes the fire engine. In terms of searches and people watching their commercials, so P&G definitely have leveraged their sponsorship of the Olympics more than anybody else. A lot of people do really get it wrong. But this is an interesting stat, just going to show now what brands or what corporate sponsors have and what they're doing now in terms of social space. Nearly 1/3 of them are now using Twitter handles, have YouTube campaigns, Facebook campaigns, using hashtags, we've got microsites, corporate pages, corporate Twitter accounts, and of course corporate YouTube pages. Get to the point now, if you're a big brand, you really need to be playing in all of these spaces. It gives you an awful lot more opportunity to spread your message, spread your word, connect with consumers, and make more of your target audience your consumers, which of course is what we're all here for. McKinsey and Company I know this year is kind of one of the big trends of this year is big data, because of course so many people now have multiple connected devices. McKinsey have said that exploiting the potential of social media technologies could ultimately deliver benefits worth $1 trillion a year to brand owners. 1 trillion. Unbelievable. But here's some interesting things. So, some $345 billion of this total is set to result from changing trends in product development, especially co-creation, which of course is huge now, and rightly so, customers should have their say, operations, and including enhanced forecast and distribution processes. A further $500 billion was attributed to marketing, sales, and after-sales service, due to tangible gains made in areas from consumer insights to social commerce and customer care. If you're a brand and you're not using social media to connect with your existing customers, to glean insights as to what makes them tick, what they want, what they require, what they don't like, then you're mad. Because there's a hell of a lot of data there and your customers are talking. So it's certainly a wonderful platform to continue dialogue and use for customer care. Business support activities such as better internal collaboration and matching talent to tasks more efficiently will be worth $230 billion. An example, the use of social platforms rather than email would free up 7 to 8% of working week in some cases. And this is just all things you can use from social media. So companies aren't thinking about social media, huge cost savings and wonderful opportunities to make more money can be found. Give it some thought. Or you can help if you need some. Another person looking at online insights are 3 of the biggest retailers in the world, obviously America, but also the world, Walmart, LLB, and Amazon. They're yielding substantial benefits from online consumer reviews and data, which offer them the chance to enhance their products and provide better recommendations. Customers are always talking. Do what you can to listen to them. And it could be easiest thing is just using things like sentiment metrics or rating 6 to find out what consumers are saying online about your brand. But listen. Ask your customers what they want. Before, it would have taken us months and months to figure out if something was wrong with a product through returns. If we ever would have known at all, said LL Bean's Chief Marketing Officer. But now, of course, you can find things out immediately. Even before you launch something, you can post it up on your Facebook page if you have an engaged audience there and find out what they think about it. Get your customers involved. That way you can give them what they want. PricewaterhouseCoopers has just released their latest research, the Media Outlook. And this is kind of looking at the next 5 years. It's a load of information. Please go and download this. You can get it if you just go into Google and search for this. But I just thought I'd tell you some of the top things that are happening. The internet. Some top things coming. With significant changes, the internet sector is difficult to forecast how the internet market will evolve. It is constantly changing, and new things are coming in all the time. And of course, things are going away all the time. Consumer choices will increase. Applications, services, connected devices will proliferate. And you think a third of the people have got more than one connected device. A third of people have got 3 connected devices. 50 to 60% of Kiwis will have a smartphone at the end of this year. The quality of fixed and mobile broadband services will also increase. Advertisers, not surprises here, will follow the end user online. And wonderfully, we anticipate advances in richness of style and format of online communications. Not just banners. A lot more interesting stuff will happen, particularly when you think of tablets and mobile devices that can now play video. The only big unknowns are how fixed and mobile broadband providers, infrastructure, will adapt and cope. That's the big thing, really, but super fast broadband, it'll come. TV going through some big changes. QuickFlix, of course, has just entered New Zealand marketplace, and new partnerships like Igloo, Sky, and TVNZ are coming. The challenge for the industry, of course, is to adapt to digital advances with increasing time shifting, video on demand, place shifting of content between devices. This is the big thing now, particularly when you think of there's so many choices, so many different platforms that consumers use. Ratings are falling. Because it's so hard now to find audiences. And of course, time shifting, yeah, it will help with some people, but it's got to the point now where audiences are so proliferated, which of course makes it slightly harder for us to reach people. But here in New Zealand, it's not the end of the world because it is quite a small market. While advertising revenues are forecast to grow, this will depend on the ability of free-to-air broadcasters to make the transition to a multimedia business model. Very true. But they're all going in that way. But it's, everyone's now is producing content. Everyone's now producing content across multiple devices. So be it television, online, mobile, tablets, print. But really, you have to adapt and be where consumers are and offer your content everywhere. Online advertising spend is predicted to increase significantly. Ultra-fast broadband will help. Cloud technologies, internet-enabled TVs will make place shifting of content between devices more convenient and fuel the mobility trend. Yep. Particularly now when you think of the beautiful screens on mobiles and tablets. It's a wonderful environment to watch TV content too. Over-the-top services such as video on demand are gathering momentum and will continue to put pressure on traditional subscription TV. The penetration of pay TV is set to climb, certainly. But there is a lot more opportunity. Think of things like QuickFlix. There is a lot more opportunity there for consumers. The big question is to what extent telco retailers will actively participate in the television market. With the opportunity to offer triple pay bundles over ultra-fast broadband network. Yep, so many more connected devices means much more data will be required. Newspapers, publishers are under extreme pressure from availability, price, speed, and convenience of the internet with both fixed and mobile devices. The shift of readers from print to online will continue, further eroding revenues. Last year print lost $42 million. The shift will gather pace as ultra-fast broadband is rolled out. It is what's happened in other countries where ultra-fast broadband is available, so it will happen here. Newspapers with popular websites will see traffic and revenues rise. Paywalls will be coming. It's taken on elsewhere. Will it take on here? That's the big question, but it will be coming. Magazines. Consumer magazines sales are expected to decline as the internet and the use of tablets increases. There will be a corresponding shift in revenues from print advertising to digital advertising. The popularity of tablets and willingness by consumers to pay for mobile content will drive an emerging digital circulation spending market. Yep, if you've got a magazine, make sure it's tablet enabled and available on tablets, and you should probably be okay. Out of home, with people spending more time out of doors, both commuting and shopping, out of home advertising is proven a very effective way to reach target audiences. And it's a great channel, really. Out-of-home advertising will be driven by the growth of digital technologies, with advertisers being attracted by innovative and spectacular out-of-home displays. Radio remains popular as ever. It will, though, come under pressure in the forecast period from the likes of music streaming services. Yeah, there's more and more of these coming. Of course, Spotify is the biggest one. But if you can choose what songs you want to listen to all the time, more and more people are going to do this and step away from radio. The question of whether New Zealand will adopt digital audio broadcasting remains open. Kind of the big thing. But one thing is for certain, radio is a medium that has always had an attractive nature, or an interactive nature about it, and talkback continues to play an extremely important role. This connection ironically serves well in a new era where video streaming and social networking sites further enable a connection with the listener. Cinema. The conversion of cinemas to digital is expected to speed up after a very slow start. And the box office spending will continue to see moderate growth, with advertising spending increasing on the back of that. Cinema is a wonderful channel, and certainly gets you away from the retail-heavy environments of television. So if you've got good brand ads, cinema is definitely the place for it. Spread of 3D technology is expected to continue, but it is not really expected to be reflected in people's homes, so that's not really going to be a big thing. Cinema advertising will benefit from box office growth and favourable demographics, and will continue to allow advertisers to reach young people and provide an environment where viewers are watching the screen and engaged in the advertisements. Can't really ask for that, right? From an advertiser point of view, you want people to be engaged in what it is you're trying to put in front of them. Cinema is a wonderful environment for that. Gaming. Don't forget about gaming. Gaming is the fastest growing entertainment segment in the world, and this is expected to continue. The sector has experienced a shift towards online and wireless games as the internet and mobile devices become faster and more powerful. But gaming, it's all demographics, particularly when you think of mobile. The ends of the industry, though, must continue to secure funding, foster the development of strong business skills, and create and market content that competes and appeals internationally. Here's a lovely piece of animation for you.
From the scale of Russia with Jonathan Dimbleby, to the surprising insights in America revealed, to the untold stories of Coast, there's always more to uncover.
So this is CBS documentary, which is in Australia, but it's a lovely example of how 3 15-second ads, 45 seconds, can demonstrate the power of a documentary travel and how people have to uncover the story through documentary. It's
From
very
the
nice.
majestic scale of wildest Africa to the daunting challenges in massive moves to the awe-inspiring beauty of lost explorers, there's always more to uncover.
I really like it. Here's another.
From the emotion of one born every minute, to the colliding worlds of Meet the Amish, to life and death in 24 hours in emergency, there's always more to uncover.
Nice. Another year and some more good ads. So FedEx sponsored the PGA Tour and the year-long event called the FedEx Cup. And every year when the FedEx Cup gets towards the playoffs, they always release some new ads. And I think this is one of the best examples of a brand who sponsor a sport and then leverage that sport to its and sponsorship to its full potential. But they understand fully what it means to be a lover of golf and a golf fanatic. But also the ads appeal to everyone, and hats off. Year after year they deliver great ads.
How am I supposed to sell you guys as the most dangerous band in the world when you're seen schlepping golf clubs through the airport?
But we love golf.
No. As far as your fans know, you are only capable of hate.
I don't hate golf.
From now on, I'm shipping your clubs with FedEx right to the golf course. Now learn how to trash a hotel room.
I need some water for those flowers.
Let FedEx Office pack and ship your clubs, luggage, and more. FedEx, solutions that matter.
Nice. And here's another one for you.
My clubs are here, right?
Yes, Mr. Chambers. FedEx delivered them this morning.
Yeah, I thought it was okay to golf on this trip. Why wouldn't it be? Because Mr. Chambers is checking in without his clubs. Golf, Ted? Mr. Chambers and I are flabbergasted. At you.
Let FedEx Office pack and ship your clubs, luggage, and more.
Nice. And the last thing for me this week.
Greatness. It's just something we made up. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift, reserved for a chosen few, for prodigies, for superstars, and the rest of us can only stand by watching. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. It's not some precious thing. Greatness is no more unique to us than breathing. We're all capable of it. All of us.
Get motivated, people. And that's it from me. I'll see you next week.